I'm going to get back to the Mueller investigation. There are calls from both sides of the aisle, including from President Trump, to release the full report to the public. Joining us now is Judge Ken Starr, author of the book Contempt, a memoir of the Clinton administration, and, of course, a former White House special counsel. Judge, great to have you on the show. Welcome indeed to Varney and Company.
Thank you.
Let me put it straight to you.
Thank you very much, Stuart.
Should the full report be released to the public?
No. There should be transparency, but not the full report. And that's as a matter of law. It's not a matter of judgment or policy, because the law protects grand jury information. So if information has gone to the grand jury and it's found its way into the Mueller report, that has to come out. Now, there's a way around that. And that is, and there's a lawful way around it, and that is to go to a federal judge, have the chief judge review it and so forth, because there is a very compelling public interest. And here, Stuart, everyone in Washington seems to agree. That's the only exception that otherwise proves the rule of transparency, which is what Attorney General Barr himself called for in his confirmation hearings, and he reiterated that in his letters to Congress.
If anything were not revealed, and there are ways of doing it legally, revealing it, if anything were left out, Democrats, a lot of people would simply say, well, it's a cover-up. So you've got to have it out there.
Yes. At the end of the day, I agree with that. And that's what Congress decided, as you know, 20 years ago, and said the Starr report should, even though we said, hey, this is very sensitive information, they said, no, it's all going to go out on the Internet.
I don't, back in the day when you issued the Starr report, your report on Clinton, Lewinsky and all that, you didn't want to release it all, I don't think, did you?
Correct.
Because of the rather,
right.
Some of the content was, you know, a little touchy.
Yeah, very, very touchy, and we flagged that in the good word, and a very carefully worded transmittal letter, Stuart, said, watch out. Caution. But again, Congress, the House of Representatives, by a divided vote, but nonetheless it was a significant majority, said, we are not going to get into this process of redacting. We're just going to let the American people decide. So, you know, we don't live in an age, and haven't for 25 years, that's really assiduously attentive to privacy interests. We want to know the facts. We want to know all the facts. So I think in the fullness of time, when Bill Barr has completed his review and does it the lawful way, he's a law guy, he's going to go by the books, we will see the entire report.
Now, what about Robert Mueller, who did not make a clear decision on obstruction of justice? Was that a mistake?
It certainly was a punt. And I'm a lawyer. I can argue it both ways. I think it was, Stuart, his responsibility to make the tough call, and he didn't. And so he put that in the lap of Bill Barr, who then brought in Rod Rosenstein, who I think whose integrity, I know there have been criticism and so forth, but his experience and so forth. And they both agreed. And by the way, given what I know, I totally agree with the proposition that the President of the United States didn't come anywhere close to the obstruction of justice. And so, yes, he should have made that decision. Why he didn't, hopefully we'll know soon, because I think that's a huge responsibility of the special counsel. Do your job.
But it will be retried all over again, because there will be, when we see the report, and I'm sure we will, then other people will start saying, well, you should have pressed for obstruction of justice. You made the wrong decision, and it will go on forever.
Well, it shouldn't, but welcome to politics. Here I think is the salient point, very briefly. Bill Barr reported to the Congress of the United States on Friday afternoon that there had been no interference with the Mueller investigation. And there's a provision for that in the regulations. If the Attorney General disagrees with an action, let's say the indictment of Paul Manafort, the Attorney General, or the acting Attorney General, can squash that. Also, there was no suggestion that funding was ever cut off. And how about this? Robert Mueller was never fired. There was just a lot of invective hurled at him, including by the President of the United States. And I'm sure that didn't make the President of the United States very popular with Bob Mueller himself or with his staff. But the point is, that investigation was comprehensive, elaborate, well-financed, and it's over. No collusion. I see no basis whatsoever for saying, oh, the president said some nasty things and fired James Comey, which he had the right to do, therefore obstruction. It just doesn't follow.
Judge Ken Starr, thank you very much for joining us. We appreciate your expertise and experience here. Much obliged to you.
Thank you.